So I'm chatting with a dominatrix on FetLife yet again. And I know some people say, Andrew, everybody on that website is fake. They're scam artists who are after money. They're after duping you and scamming you. I let this woman know I'm disabled, how, I'm not working. I told her, you can't tell by looking at me that I'm disabled. I present very normal. But she said she didn't discriminate, and basically a fantasy of mine is to be bullied, humiliated, dehumanized, and made to feel worthless by a dominatrix. That's a fantasy of mine. Somebody says, Andrew, let's say hypothetically speaking, you were a slave to a dominatrix. It would probably, in fantasy, it's fun to, because I've been involuntarily celibate for like my whole life, and I've had very little fun in my life. It's fun to string these dominatrixes along, assuming she's real, and have conversations. But when the time to meet comes, when the time to meet in person comes, obviously I'm afraid of contamination fears. I'm afraid of getting something like an STD or an STI. Also, I'm afraid of, HIV. I'm afraid of my safety. I'm afraid of getting abducted or hurt or kidnapped. In a lot of ways, even though I'm leading these dominatrixes on, I'm a fake. In fantasy, would it be good to be a slave to a dominatrix? And in fantasy, maybe. But obviously, I think what people should be after is true love. I think people should be after, because in your relationships, nobody should have power over the other person. Especially in a really loving and warm relationship. You should both be equals. You should both communicate. Nobody should be a dominant, because that just sets you up to be a weak, powerless slave, a weak, powerless, bullied man-child, somebody who gets ridiculed and dehumanized. Take pride in who I am. Have self-esteem. Have self-worth. Realize, I shouldn't be humiliated and degraded and made to feel worthless by a dominatrix. I should be after finding true love with a real woman at some mental health recovery group, and nobody should have power over the other. Nobody should have intentions to bully the other. It should be true love, basically. It should be true love.